Welcome to the Serenknitty podcast. I'm Beth, also known as Witty Knittin' on Ravelry and Instagram.
I'm Tracy, also known as Phoenix Fire on Ravelry and Phoenix Fire Knits on Instagram.
Listen to how polished that was.
That was so perfect until I started talking over you. But I was just going to tell them I just found out today that whenever I change your name for the podcast, you have to go back and change it for work or you're going to be Witty Knitting at all your meetings.
Yep, I'm a little worried about it.
About that. Mine never saves. It's always, whenever I log in the next time, it's always right back to my full name.
Well, mine's saved, and then sometimes Matt will use it for like a meeting he has to go to. So it already says Beth Rosine usually. If it would say Witty Knittin', he'd be like,
Yeah, I think, did I tell you about my friend who changed her son's name for a Girl Scout meeting to Miss Stacy? And then he couldn't get into class because when they saw Miss Stacy in the waiting room, they're like, nope.
That's funny.
He was banned for the day. She had to call the teacher to get him in. Yeah, I felt bad. So I knew that they sometimes stay, but I didn't realize that yours was staying because mine wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
We need to get Grandma Sherry to record with us so that she can remind us at the end of the meeting to have me change your name back. Because she's got our back.
She does. Poor thing probably feels obligated now to watch. What are they going to make me do next?
We'll just start talking to all of our friends now. From now on, we need you to do this. And leave a comment, Joy. I know she watches.
Oh, love it.
So what have you been working on over the past 2 weeks?
Well, I started and finished something actually that you have not seen.
Ooh.
So should I start with that? Because that's really what I was working on.
Yes, start with that. I have nothing finished. I thought I might have something finished, but I don't.
So I started and finished a Hipster shawl by Locatelli. So it is this.
Gorgeous.
It's really like, it's kind of like a neon-y mint if you were to see it in the real life. So it's a DK weight shawl, and there are these like slip stitch elements, and it's not blocked yet because I just finished it. And then there's like a textured thing in between, but it's hard to see with the yarn I chose. And honestly, when I started the pattern, I didn't realize that it was there. So then I thought about not even knitting it, but I decided to anyway. And I copied Stephanie. And I laughed because we said Stephanie 4 million times last time.
Good.
Of Edible Thoughts Makes, and I did a Picot bind off, which I never.
And you never let on she was that Stephanie was the winner the whole time. I was surprised everybody else after we talked about Stephanie's the whole time.
See, I can keep a secret.
You can. I'm not sure I can.
Sorry, what?
So be careful what you tell me. I'm not sure I can keep a secret.
I don't tell you any of my secrets. I'm just kidding.
You have to tell me it's a secret if you make it a secret. So like, I got some news.
Let's see. Oh, and this was 716 Pride yarn in the Your Face is a Poem colorway. How nice is it that I just scrunched it in a ball and hold it here like such a professional person?
That should be our thing. We have a finished object. Here's my finished object.
Guess what it is?
It's a thing.
Nice and big and pretty. And it took just barely over 2 skeins. So yeah, I just need to block it. And I need to enter it into the ZK knit along. And this is a Copy Cat project. So it's part of our Copy Cat knit along.
You need to post after you block it, the original and yours on Instagram with our hashtag so that, so we can see how it's done.
That's a good idea. I'm going to do that. And so I just finished that Friday, I think. Today's Sunday. Yeah, I think it was Friday. Because I really wanted to get started on a temperature blanket.
Okay, yeah. How many colors do you need for a temperature blanket?
Well, here's the thing. My stash has lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of single skeins of sock yarn. And my stash is just like, my stash and my purchasing are just a little bit out of hand at the moment. So I was like, there's no way I'm buying anything for this blanket. That would be counterproductive. So what I did, oh my gosh, I've been geeking out so hard and it's been so much fun.
I've watched this on Instagram and I was thinking she is going to do temperatures from 50 below to 150. So many colors.
The range, well, because I did the high temp, the range wasn't as dramatic as I thought it would be. Okay, I feel like there's a lot of stuff tied up in this project. So because of this project, I wanted, okay, I'm just going to show you. So I made this, which is basically a knitting planner. And so if you're familiar with the Happy Planner stuff, it has that. Do you know about this?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so they have these like disc thingamabobs that you have a special punch for, and then you punch, okay, now I can't take it out. So you have this punch, and then you just have these discs, and that's what makes, so you can make planners or picture books or whatever. So I have my teacher planner at work. I made a planner with the Happy Planner stuff. And I still have all the stuff, and I have a laminator, and I have all these things, and I'm like, why have I not made like a knitting journal, a knitting planner
Laminator?
thing? Yeah, you don't know.
I mean, you have one just at work, or you have your own laminator?
I have my own laminator.
I'm going to send you something to laminate for me. You don't have a laminator?
You don't have a laminator? Where is it?
I don't think that most people have laminators.
Well, I guess if you're not a teacher, that would make sense, but, well, you teach big kids.
Yeah, we have one in our Learning Commons, which is a fancy name for library, but you have to make an appointment, and you have a certain number you're allowed to make throughout the year, so I just don't bother.
This is just like a little laminator, but it's awesome. And it's better than our school laminator, because that has like the flimsy laminating, and this is like the hard laminating.
Yeah. I'm sending you something to laminate for me.
I will. I hope you're not kidding.
No, I'm serious. I've been putting off having this laminated because I know that the media specialists will be like, is this for your classroom use? And I'll be like, yes. And I'll just have been putting it off. So yeah, I'm sending it.
Send it.
It's bookmarks. It's not anything huge.
I'm all over it. So I made this knitting journal. And then within that, I have a category that's patterns. So for the projects I'm currently working on, and then one for progress, and I'm going to print off calendar stuff and make like a calendar, and I can put like deadlines for knit-alongs and stuff like that. And then I have my dream knitting, which is like all the things, like if this was my job and this is all I did all day, oh look, I would knit one of these, and oh, I have a lot. There's more dream knitting in here than anything else right now. Okay, so circling back, this is all to say that I made this because I wanted a safe place for my big, beautiful temperature blanket chart.
Wow.
So I started with like each like set of 10 degrees was a color. And then when I did that, there were some that were so big that I wouldn't have had enough of any yarn.
Okay.
To have that. So then, excuse me, I broke it down. So this is 5 degrees. So it goes from -5 to 93. So this was the year Aspen was born. So this is 2016, and I'm starting it on her birthday. So this is February. So it'll be like this. So my blanket is like this, and then this, and this, and this, and this, just so I could kind of see it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm ending up like there are, I think, 20 colors. And so some of them I have like two yarns that are like two different yarns, different dyers, everything that are similar, that I'm like, well, these will be my amount for that. Okay. I would say, oh, I'm struggling with words today, but this is just me all the time, because I figured out how many days there are for each color, and then how many grams I will need if my estimation is right of how much yarn I need per day.
Okay, my mind is blown.
Which makes me wonder, people who are doing temperature tracker things like in the moment, I don't know how you could ever possibly
They
do
go
that.
to the craft store with a 40% off coupon, and they buy a skein for whatever color it is that week. And then next week they go get another color.
Because some of these, like, and the way I'm doing it, okay, so there are a couple that I only need 15 grams. But then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 different colors that I will need more than one skein. And there's one where I need 3 skeins of sock yarn for like a lap blanket. This isn't even a bed-sized blanket. Anyway.
So are you going to do that year's temperature, or that was like an idea for what you might expect to have this year? How are you doing this?
So this is what I'm doing.
Okay.
These are the temperatures I'm going to do. Which, yeah, because I don't know how I would possibly have the right amounts of yarn for something this size.
You would have to hope that it's going to be similar to another year if you were going to plan that hard.
Oh my gosh, isn't it so pretty?
It is pretty.
Another thing is I have to do
overwhelming. It's a little overwhelming.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It took me almost all day yesterday to I was weighing all the yarn and figuring out the things, and the girls were at grandma's house, and that's like all I did yesterday.
I was looking at thinking I would spend longer making that chart than actually knitting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I put it in this book to protect it, and you probably can't tell, but I've already spilled something on it.
Oh, that sounds like me.
Discolored. Actually, I think one of the children did. I'm just going to blame them. Okay.
Did you say what pattern you're using for your blanket?
What pattern?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing the same as my, it's just a granny stripe.
Okay.
Blanket. So I'm just doing a crochet granny stripe. It's the Attic 24. There's like a blog post with instructions.
That's the one I'm going to do someday when I learn to crochet.
You have a hook.
I have a hook.
And plenty of yarn.
I have a hook. I mean, there's nothing stopping me now. Except a lack of knowledge.
Want to see how far I am on this project?
Yeah.
I had to start over like 4 times last night. Just the first stinking row. It's so small I can't even find it.
Oh.
Here it is. It's in this lovely basket. I love these
Hold that
baskets.
up. Oh, that is a pretty one.
When I had a local yarn store years ago, they had these baskets.
Our local co-op has them, and it's hard not to get one every time I go.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been grocery shopping in so long. I can't even say that.
This is how far I am. Ooh, look at my pretty blanket.
See, I could do that part. I can do a chain. After that, I'm lost.
And I have a new teeny little sparrow.
Oh, I love it.
Progress keeper from Lock and Lou.
Well, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to finally actually sit down tonight and start. For real.
I put this blanket on my bed today. I have 2 more rows to do after I finish what I'm on. And I was like, oh, I love it. I haven't seen it spread out before like that. I'm so happy. And it's mostly yarns from you and people named Stephanie who I've met through Ravelry. Oh, all right. So what's been taking up most of my knitting time the past 2 weeks is I think I'll call this my copycat, just in case I don't get to my actual real copycat. Because this is the sweater that my daughter asked for. My daughter, who never asked for anything knitted, who coined the phrase "that sweater sweats me" when she was 4. She asked for a hand knit sweater that looked like the one that her brother got her for Christmas 2 years ago, but not as long. She was just a little bit more cropped, and not the same color because she already has one that color. So we looked at the sweater and we looked through Ravelry and we picked out the cozy classic Raglan from Jessie Maed Designs. And it's simple, but it's just really nice. It looks store-bought. I was saying that as a compliment to myself. Yeah, so she really likes it. She's tried it on twice. It looks really good on her. I am this close to being finished. I really thought I could finish it before today, but I could not. But I got that much done today. Did you get a Baby Yoda for Christmas?
I did. Do we have matching ones?
I think that they're not matching. They're at least similar. Look how happy he is. Look at happy Baby Yoda. Love those things. Did you get a porg too?
Yes.
Okay, good. I want to show off my porg next time if you didn't have one.
I haven't put that one on anything yet. My Baby Yoda one is on my original crochet blanket, which is probably now going to see no love until, I don't know, next Christmas when I...
Oh, so I think I'm the person that the little creatures they make with the stuffed animals. I know people like, oh, they do that for the kids. No, it's for people of my generation, because I was the generation that first saw the Ewoks, and I had to have my own Ewok. And I watched the animated series about the Ewoks. So of course, when they had the porgs, I was all over that. And now, of course, Grogu, Baby Yoda, love him so much. So yeah, so
I love him too, but the Baby Yoda thing is also just like trendy, especially among second graders and elementary school children. Well, and I'm like, this kid brings, birthday cupcakes the other day with the Baby Yoda rings on the top of them, and I'm like, oh my gosh! I'm like, do you watch The Mandalorian? That's cool, but that's a little grown up. And he's like, no, I just love Baby Yoda.
Oh,
who can I talk to about The Mandalorian?
One of my students is heavy into Star Wars, and we ended up having a conversation over Zoom during class where all the other kids were probably rolling their eyes with their cameras off, because he was telling me that you really have to watch the second season of Clone Wars, because I was not of the age to get into the Clone Wars, the cartoon, but the cartoon apparently explains a lot of stuff that fills a lot of the gaps from the prequels, and then it also gives us a lot of backstory for The Mandalorian.
Interesting.
Yes, so he was telling me all about this, and my other classmates were like, can we talk about something besides Star Wars now? Like, yes, let's talk about your research paper. Like, never mind. Star Wars it is.
Yeah, Star Wars.
But yeah, you have to love Baby Yoda because he's got big eyes and big ears. And anything with the proportionally giant eyeballs is just cute. Everybody loves that. So, okay, my sweater has outgrown its bag because it's almost done. It's probably like 3 inches from being done. So now it just lives in my Joyful Knitter basket with this awesome pin that I got for Advent, which is basically our logo, and I love it so much. And a Shelly Can squirrel with the yarnball nut. And if you would like your own basket, this is from my friend, the Joyful Knitter on Etsy. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, she's the Joyful Quilter. She's a Joyful Quilter. And she has an amazing quilting account on Ravelry. She's a little bit of knitting, mostly quilting. If you're heavy into quilting or just like to see cool quilts, you can follow the Joyful Knitter and get in touch with her if you want something special made for yourself. She will not make face masks, but she'll make anything else that you have.
Yes.
And if you follow her, tell her that I sent you, because she thinks it's weird when she finds new people. When new people find her.
Just found her.
Well, she said the other day in our Zoom that these people had started following her, and she didn't know where they came from, and it was a little bit weird. And I was like, okay, so if they're single men of a certain age, block them, because that's a scam. But if it's other people who sew or knit, it was me, because I put in a comment, somebody asked for new quilting accounts. They're looking for a quilting account to follow, and I was like, this is the only one I follow, and she's awesome. So follow the Joyful Quilter if you're into quilting, but don't scare her.
Well, you said she watches, right?
Yes, she does.
Joy, it's just me.
I think she'll probably recognize your name. Your name popped up on Michael's Instagram. It was recommended for you the other day.
What?
I know. And he's like, I don't know if two worlds need to collide like that.
So he's not going to follow me?
I don't know. He only follows woodworking accounts. And me and his brother.
Friends. Thought we had a thing.
You hear that, Michael? Now you've hurt her feelings. Okay, now I've hurt her feelings for you. Oh, well. It couldn't be helped. She had to know. It was just so weird. He popped up. And somebody from my work popped up in my recommended too. But I'll tell you about that off screen.
Oh boy.
Can't wait. It's not that big of a deal. It's just in case anybody from work, because I do follow a few people from work on my Instagram, but not many.
Is yours private?
Mm-hmm.
No, mine
Just for a while, I felt like no one was going to be able to figure out who I was anyway, because I didn't have anything that was really identifying on it. But then it became my actual, like, everything account. Before, it was just knitting. Now the kids are on it. A few of my coworkers. Because Google finds these things out. Now the colleges start calling. That was weird. We were talking about sending my daughter to a college up north, and that's like, oh, she should try my college. And then within 2 weeks, we start getting literature from other Minnesota colleges. Thanks, Google Home. These are some great recommendations. Creepy. All right. I have one more work in progress, and it's over to you. I'm still working on my life goals socks. And Fibernymph Dyeworks. And I know her yarn is awesome. I've always known her yarn is awesome. I've been knitting in her yarn since she opened the shop. But I'm always blown away by how really pretty the colors are. Let's get to knitting. I've got one. It's ready for the heel. And two. I'm ready for the heel. Getting there. So I'll probably get these finished up next week while I'm quarantining after my third COVID test.
Ugh.
Yeah, for medical procedures. I'm not a person who puts myself at risk, but I leave the house less often than anybody else in this family, and this will be my third test, and they've never had one, so it just seems totally unfair.
Yeah, I've had a test 4 times now. So I had one before when I was gonna deliver Ronan, and then why would I have the second one? Oh, Aspen was exposed at preschool. And I had some weird symptoms at that time. So then she and I both tested. And then, and then I got sick over Christmas break. So and that in Minnesota, like all teachers got a saliva test, like an at-home saliva test. Mm-hmm. So I did that one. I was negative. And now at school, now that we are back in person full time, we can be tested every 2 weeks with the saliva testing. So I was like, well, I will do that.
Probably handle the saliva test better than the nasal swab.
Yeah, the saliva test is definitely painless.
They stick the swab up your nose until they find your childhood memories, and then hold it for 10 seconds. No, I don't want to do that again. So, yeah, I'm hoping this will be better. 2 days of quarantining after I get that done. So, yeah, I should get a lot of knitting done while I'm sitting back here by myself, away from my family.
That sounds like such a treat to me right now. I feel like I love my family dearly, but I think anyone who's been through raising children, being around children,
it's exhausting.
It's exhausting. And they're little and they're a lot. And I love them dearly. But man, if I could be stuck in a room knitting for a couple days.
Don't come in here. I'm quarantining.
That would be lovely. I do have one more whip. It will look like I've gotten really far on it, but that's actually just because it's been sitting around since before we started the podcast. So I cast on a Spark Cardigan by Andrea Mowry a long time ago.
I remember this.
Yeah. And I was very excited about it. And I still really like it. And I'm still really excited about it. And it's going to be this like magical rainbow situation happening. And you start with your sleeves and then you knit the body from the bottom up. So then you'll join them all together. So I have the first sleeve done. And this sleeve has just a few more rounds and then I can start the body. And I was in kind of a weird place because I had finished this and I didn't want to start something new, but I didn't want to crochet, so I picked this back up.
That's pretty.
Thank you. I also have recently frogged a bunch of stuff that's just been on the needles for years and years, and I'm like, why is this taking up project bags and space and pretty stitch markers and needles and brain space? So Chelsea from Legacy Knits and Chelsea Makes whatever, I'm a patron of hers, and she's having a finisher frog knit along for January, and I feel guilty because all I'm doing is frogging. But like it feels so good. I'm like, this and this and this, and I'm just taking apart these things and I'm like, you have served your purpose. I am never going to finish this. Go back and be yarn in my stash.
And maybe you'll finish your spark.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably not in January. Well, I maybe could.
At least you're showing you're trying. You have frogged and you're working on a finish.
Do you think I could finish this?
2 weeks. I think maybe. Depends how much time you get. Tomorrow's a holiday. The face.
It took me a minute.
Tomorrow's a holiday.
Took me a minute.
I'm not going anywhere.
Do you not have school tomorrow?
No, it's Martin Luther King Day.
You have school off on Martin Luther King Day?
We always do. We lose our federal funding for roads if we don't celebrate it. Have you not lost your federal funding for roads? That's something we talk about off camera too. Yeah, we've got Martin Luther King Day since it started. I mean, I remember getting it when I was in school as a student, not a teacher.
No, I don't think we've ever had it off.
Huh. Oh, we always do. Well, now that I've depressed Beth, let's move on to
Feels like an a-hole for not realizing what holiday is tomorrow. Jesus.
Well, at least you don't have to be threatened by the federal government to celebrate it. Unlike the South, which is what I was going to say off camera, but I might as well just put that right here. Just drop it right here for the rest of the world. Oh, but we both took advantage of a very big sale. It's really exciting. Teeny Button, who we have really talked about a lot on this podcast.
Because she dyes beautiful yarn.
Oh my gosh, she does. She's clearing out some of her single skeins, which I thought they're all single skeins, but you got doubles, so I don't know how that works. But she's clearing things out, and she did 2 rounds of $15 mystery skeins. And I hopped on there, and I got 3 in the first round, and I had my cart open with 4 more in the second round, and I was like, no, I will share them off with someone else, because I hadn't even gotten my first order in the mail yet, and so it just felt weird pulling the trigger on the second order. But then when I got my mystery skeins, I regretted not pulling the trigger on the second order. Look how pretty.
Ooh.
I don't know if they're color. It's not true to color. A little bit muted. And this one's burgundy. Why is it gray?
It looks purple.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, it's supposed to be a purplish burgundy color, but it's looking gray on my screen. That's a little bit better. Blown out a little bit better. But I think they would look good together. I feel like she really put some effort into the pairing of the skeins. So mine are all in soft sock, which is her superwash merino nylon base. This one is rose gold. You know how I feel about that. I bought a whole cardigan worth of rose gold at ZK from a different dyer because I was inspired by that color and couldn't get my hands on it at the time. This one is Magnolia Blossom.
I really like that one.
There it is. And my third, which is not showing up true to color, is Philosopher. So I love them. I don't know what I'll do with them, but they'll go in my collection, my beautiful yarn collection.
Okay, so I got on the second round. I didn't even know you had ordered, so that was fun.
I just saw it and I jumped in and I was like, I'll give that a try. And then suddenly there was something on Instagram like, well, that sold out fast. I had no idea. I was just taking my time, shopping.
Well, I had set an alarm after seeing the whole first, or where you can on Instagram, where you can set a reminder or whatever. And I just happened to have my phone in my hand when that popped up, and I was like, ooh. So I got 5 skeins of her Aran weight yarn. I don't know why, but I feel like when I buy yarn from indie dyers, I only ever buy sock yarn. But when I have Aran weight yarn, I knit with it like really quickly because it's a good weight for hats and mittens and things like that. So I had seen that she both said you might get like doubles or you might get more than one of the same color, but I saw her basically say like, I can't guarantee that all your skeins are going to be different, and I can't guarantee that all your skeins are going to be the same. So I knew I might, with ordering 5
all together. I thought she was saying that they're only single skeins.
No, well, maybe for the first update that was true.
Oh.
I'm not sure. But in any case, these are the ones I got. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. So there are 2 skeins of Fantasyland, which I'm sure will be something for my girls because they are all about any bright colors at all, but this bubblegum pink will be right up their alley. And then 2 skeins of Birthday at the Burrow, which is just so colorful and fun.
That is some cute.
And then 1 skein of Minty Mocha Magic, which I messaged her about because when I saw this colorway before she came out with this past year's Christmas colorways. And this is what I was going to get for your Christmas Day yarn. And I was like, hey, when do you think you'll have more of that? And then we had this email exchange, and then I never saw it go up again. And then I ended up seeing all those other Christmas yarns. So then when I got this, I was like, what?
She's magic.
She is magic. So I think I might make some Aran weight, like house sock Christmas socks.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Because it's just, look, it's so pretty.
It's amazing. I was going to say we lucked out, but I don't think you could go wrong with T-Buddy.
And that's why I'm like, I knew I would like whatever showed up.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt pretty safe and pulling trigger on that too. All right, that is all I've got going on right now. We still have our knit along happening through March, our Copy Cat KAL. So we are knitting something that's inspired by, right? So it's inspired by someone else's project, right? That's your original intent. Because I kind of went off script a little bit with knitting something inspired by someone's favorite sweater. That's the original intent. You're inspired by someone else. Always wanted to make this. This is your chance. And I know last week I showed a big bag of yarn that I bought the week after someone on my Instagram feed had posted their finished sweater. And I was like, well, I want that sweater and that yarn. I want exactly what you are wearing right now. And I haven't even started it yet. But she did this is another Stephanie, and she did a podcast with Emily of Anders Mill Knits podcast. And she was wearing this sweater this past week. So if you would like to see what I'm talking about, you can check them out.
That sounds meant to be.
Yeah, it's going to get done eventually. Let's have big plans. I have plans for scrappy sweater and all my DK scraps. What else am I going to do with all these DK scraps that all kind of look the same? Can't make another Soldana. It's a very muted Soldana.
You should make
I think I'm gonna do a fade with those.
I was gonna say you should make a comfort fade
I'm
cardigan.
gonna do something similar, but with it's gonna be a pullover to use less yarn. So that's coming up, and I want to do a color work project. I did not do my Just Float pullover last year because Stephanie Lottman was not a sponsor of ZK. So I thought, well, maybe she will the next year. So I held off, and sure enough, she is. So that's the one time it actually worked out for me. So that's going to be on the needles next, I think. I'm still looking at patterns to use all of my Advent skeins together in one big project. Still can't decide if I want to do a wrap like I usually do or a sweater. I think it needs to be a sweater. I guess I need to wear 2020 on my body and be like, see, I mastered you. You didn't get the best of me.
You got to make sure you get some dumpster fire in there.
Yeah,
somewhere.
That's true. Yeah, I got to work on that. But I think I'll save that for Advent this year.
I forgot to tell you with my blanket planning for my temperature tracker granny stripe blanket, almost all of the yarns are ZK yarns. So my goal is to finish it before ZK and be like, bam,
wow,
bonus yardage.
That'll be a lot. Got until the end of May.
I know.
You can do it.
I think I can.
Oh, my heat just came on, probably for the first time, and I don't know when, so that's loud. It's probably a good time to wrap this up. Oh, but I was also going to say, when you're showing off your awesome journal that you made, that I had a knitting journal, a knitting planner pop up in my Amazon feed. So if you don't have a laminator and the rings and all the awesome stuff, and you still think that's a really cool idea, you can check that out. And there's some indie ones too, probably on Etsy. But the one that popped up on my feed was, I think, $20. And I was like, that's pretty cool, but I haven't used my planner that I got last year yet.
See, and that's why I like, well, and for my school planner too, I really like this because you can punch any paper and put it in wherever you want. And if you, like, everything's really easy to take on and off. So if you decide you don't like something where you put it, you can put it somewhere else. And like at school, if we get handouts at meetings, I just punch it, put it in there. And then sometimes I get on a real bad streak where I don't use my planner at all. And then I hate wasting that much. So like any calendar I have on there is a calendar where I write the dates on it because.
Yeah. Paul gave me an undated planner for Mother's Day. And I have not. I'm just going to wait. Just going to wait. I'm using calendar pages I print off the internet in a notebook right now. So I feel like that's all this year's deserved, to be honest. It doesn't deserve something nice and fancy. On that positive note, guess we will head on out. And we'll see you guys in about 2 weeks. Anything else?
Nope.
Good, because if you thought of something and we started talking about it, my daughter would be all mad and say, you should cut that. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Can subscribe. Yay, can subscribe. Did you hold the button?